When you start guiding people, that's the next level where I would like to say you start becoming a motivator. One of the major factors here is that the contribution of individuals. Management should adopt such directing policies that motivate employees to contribute their maximum potential. A leader is like a compass. People trust the compass because it's going to show the right direction. As a leader of the organization, you need to show the right path to success. Good morning and welcome to the first session in Unit 4 in Management Principles and Practices, where we are going to talk about the word direction. This is a very interesting concept. Why? Because at one point of time, the single focus that we have in our life, the one thing that we keep searching in our life is for direction. Whether that be in terms of philosophical or in management or in career achievement, we need direction. We need people to tell us exactly where we are heading to. And that's where management also comes into this position, where we are going to talk about this word called as direction. So now, directing is the heart of the management function. You don't need to have any better word than this. It is the heart of the management function, which means without the heart, the human body will not function. Without direction, management will not function. So this is where we are going to talk about the importance of direction. Now, all other functions of management such as planning, organizing, staffing will have no importance without direction. Leadership, motivation, supervision, communication, you put in a host lot of words, but still without direction, nothing is achievable in management. Now, what happens to us is that whenever we start talking about this word direction, we ask, who is the person whom we can go and ask for direction? Who can guide us? Who can put us to the driver's seat? Who can make us think that yes, we will be able to achieve something? So that's why the importance and the principles of directing is about making people understand how to take the lead going forward. Now, directing refers to the process or technique of instructing, guiding, inspiring, counseling, overseeing, and leading people. Host a lot of words, big words altogether, I would like to say. For me, if I look into this word directing, I would simply start with the word called as instructions. It's a step-by-step process. So I would just start with the word instruction. When you instruct people how to do things, yes, you become a director. But when you start guiding people, that's the next level where I would like to say you start becoming a motivator. Why? Because you are trying to tell people how exactly to do it and the improvement, the better way to do it. The next comes inspiring. Now, this is a bigger level. Why? Because once you have started inspiring people, you become a leader. That's the position of direction where you would see that you are able to draw attention from the hundreds and millions of people who are waiting to see you, who get inspired by you, by your words, by your thoughts, by your actions, by your deed. So there you are becoming a truly inspiring leader. Followed by counseling. Direction is always not about telling people what to do, how to do. Direction is also about telling people what exactly can be done. Which means to say that you take a moment with any people, with any person here and try to understand what exactly has gone wrong, what exactly can be done, why things have really not been achievable. So that's why I say counseling is also a part of directing, overseeing and leading people towards accomplishment. Now, you take people with you, you make them understand the importance of direction, guide them, see them that they are able to achieve their goal, they are able to accomplish their objectives. You have become a director by yourself. Now, this is a continuous process. This is not something that's just going to have a one-step model or one-off case altogether. It's a continuous process that runs through the organization. Just to go back right from our school days till our professional life altogether, there's always been a person who has been motivating, guiding us, telling us what to be done. It might be our parents, my teachers, or it might be your guides, it might be your boss, manager, whoever is that, but definitely without direction, nobody can go further. Now, even in the case of plants, they also move towards the direction of sunlight. So even when we talk about any single object which has got life inside it, there needs to be direction into them. Then only they will be able to go further, they will be able to achieve success as aspired. So direction is definitely very, very important for all of us to study from a management perspective. Now, the next thing, the main characteristics of direction. What does direction exactly do? It will initiate an action. You initiate an action. The most wonderful thing in this world is how you can make people move from one position to another. How you can make people just get up from the chair, get into an action, and start making them feel that, yes, today I have to do something. I'm not here just to sit down. I'm not here just to relax. I'm not just here to talk about theory. I want action. I want results. I want people to understand. I want people to see that I'm doing something. So that's where direction comes in. When you direct people, when you tell them that, yes, these are your duties, you have to do it. And when people get inspired by your talk, you see action happening in your organization. People start taking the process seriously. People start doing that work seriously. And that's what leads into a total management action altogether. Now, many a times we think that actually the direction is more from a controlling standpoint. Let me just clarify the factor here. When you are directing somebody, it doesn't mean that you are controlling somebody. You are only guiding them. Direction is more from a guidance and not from a controlling perspective. So in the organization, when people talk about controlling, it is not truly about, holding you back, but it is about guiding you, making you understand whether you can do things better than expected. So always, please believe on this factor. It is the direction factor that makes you win, that takes you a lead altogether. While other functions prepare a platform, direction always initiates an action. Whenever you talk about other functions like organizing, planning, communication, these are certain things which do not really plunge you into the action zone. But direction is one thing that puts the people right into the heart of action. So that's why I say direction initiates the action and the action continues forward. Now, the next one, it's a pervasive function altogether. So when I talk about this pervasive function altogether, which means to say that it happens at every level of the organization. Who is the person who's going to lead? The person who's going to lead might be from the top level, from the bottom level, from the mid level. So everybody will be involved in this process called as direction. Why? Because everybody needs direction and everybody needs to be directed and everybody wants to give directions to others. So understand, this is a complex function altogether. We are not going to stop here. We are not going to say that direction is just going to come from the top level. We will wait till then. No. Everybody will get into the action. Everybody will follow the directions and will also instruct people how to take it forward. Just to give you an example here, moment you travel in a flight, the first thing that you get is a set of instructions from the air hostess how to safeguard yourself in case of emergency. So you get some directions. Moment the flight has landed, again you get a set of instructions how to walk out or to exit out of the aeroplane altogether. Now the pilot, while during the flight, he gives a set of instructions. The pilot has also been given instructions from the cockpit, from the air traffic controller altogether. So everywhere directions keep flowing around. Even when we go in our car, we are being directed today by a gadget, by an app called as the Google Map. So everywhere man or an object requires direction, it has to be a continuous action that will keep on making you flow, that will keep on making you think and understand that yes, we are leading our way to success. Followed by, it's a continuous activity. As I have rightly told you, this continues throughout the life of the organization, through the life of managers and employees. Now, a sudden question that can pop up in your mind is that, can I live a life without directions? Can I lead a life without all these jargons, without these management functions? Can I be a person away from all this talk? The answer is yes, but then you cannot be a part of management. You have to become a part of an aesthetic life altogether. You need to live a life which is away from these materialistic things and management possibly, because that's only point where you would see that the directions are not given in terms of the management terms, but even there is a direction path that you need to follow. But now, coming back, you would see that whenever we talk about direction, this happens to be as a part of the organization. This happens to continue as long as the organization continues to exist in this world. So this is something which cannot be avoided. This is something which cannot be stopped. This is something which cannot be said that I have taken it, it's enough. No, this is something which keeps on going on and on. This is not something to be disturbed at all. Followed by descending order of hierarchy. Normally, the direction flows from the top to the bottom. This is the flow of the direction. Now, is it mandatory that it will flow in the same direction? Not necessarily, but then going by the rule of thumb, it is always in the fashion that flows from the top to the bottom. Why? The instructions comes from the top level management to the bottom level management as to how to do the job and how to take it forward. The next one, the human factor in pervasive function. Now, we're going to talk about human factor, which is the most complicated thing in this world. None of us actually love directing or being directed. Now, that's a very, very interesting function to be talked about, but still, human do not accept somebody coming and giving directions. We always feel that we are self-directed, motivated individuals, and we always feel that we should not be directed by anybody. We should be directed by ourselves, by our mind, by our body and soul. We do not want to listen to others. But in organization, it becomes a very, very challenging factor for a manager to go forward and direct people. Why? Because the moment he starts giving instructions to people, they're not going to take it at the same wavelength. They're going to question back the manager asking that, who the hell are you to give me directions? Who are you to tell me how to do my job? So for a manager, it is not enough that he learns the word direction, but he has to understand the human factor behind direction. So he should be in a position to communicate very well with his team members, convince them, make them understand why they need to do this job in a particular way. So the main concept of direction is all about making the employees understand the need for following the rules and regulation, the need for completing the task in the way the management wants. At the end of the day, it is not about becoming an intellectual in organization. It is all about the teamwork, and the team will work only if there is a guided assistance. So that's why I would always say that direction from the human factor is the most challenging thing. And for a manager, he needs to understand that every single individual is unique. He has to be made understood about the situation. He has to be told about how to take forward appropriately and guide him to the path of success. Followed by maximum individual contribution. That's the first principle that we're going to learn in directing. One of the major factors here is that the contribution of individuals. Management should adopt such directing policies that motivate employees to contribute their maximum potential. The aim of management is not just to make you work or extract work from you. It is not that you log into the office at 9 o'clock and you log out at 6 o'clock. Yes, I worked 9 hours today. Is that enough? Definitely not. What does the management want? Management wants to see the best of your potential. They don't want to see the best of the hours that you have put in. They don't want to see your performance through the number of hours, number of days or weeks that you have toiled for the organization, that you have slogged for the organization. Management wants to understand as an employee, have you brought in your best performance to the table? Would you be in a position to deliver continuously in spite of challenging environment surrounding you? So what happens here in directions is that we want you to understand that when we are giving you certain direction, I want you to follow the path and contribute the maximum. I do not want you to go back and tell that, sir, in this situation I cannot, but in another situation I will be able to perform. The aim of direction is that to keep you intact in terms of making your performance being at the best. Followed by harmony of objectives. Sometimes there is a conflict. We need to understand that there are organizational conflicts which keep on happening within the organization. This is quite common. Why? Because why is that conflict rising altogether? Is it because I've not understood the direction? Or is it because I've not understood the policy? Or is it because my mindset does not match with my manager? The question is quite simple, but the answer is complicated. Why? Because directing actually plays a role in such a manner, it only tries to tell you the path. It does not tell you the result. So when you follow the path, the result is automatic. But for human beings, we are impatient. We do not have the time and patience to understand, analyze the outcome. What we want is an instantaneous process, an instant result altogether. So most of the time what happens is that the objectives that are being set by the management do not sink into our mind. There is a conflict within ourselves. We want to challenge it. We want to overcome it. We want to question people. Why, when, what, how? But at the end of the day, what a manager really wants, what a leader typically wants is that follow the direction, result will automatically come. So that's why we say that you need to take the objectives, you need to take the policies and direction in a common manner. You need to understand, you need to sync with the organization, you need to sync with the system. Try to understand the process. Go with the flow so that there is a harmony of objectives. There's a harmony in terms of work environment and flow, and we are able to achieve success in the given time frame. Followed by unity of command. Now, this is something very, very interesting. Why? Because a subordinate should receive instructions from only one supervisor. Unfortunately, in our life, we get instructions from every single corner of our life, every nook and corner. Trust me, when you're walking on the road, you get directions from a traffic light, from a constable, from a person who's walking on the road, from your persons who are just traveling along with you. You get instructions from your phone, you get instructions from your home, you get instructions from your boss. Finally, you are confused. What am I exactly doing? Whom should I follow? Now, what is very important in management is that we talk about this unity of command in direction. We want one person giving the command and others following it. There's one leader and there's one direction. Now, you all know the English proverb, too many cooks spoil the broth. Similarly, this happens also in the case of management, in the case of direction also. When there are too many leaders with a set of instructions, whole lot of instructions that has been given to the people, they get confused. They get to a situation where they start questioning, whom should I follow? That should not happen in direction. One leader at a time should give the command to his subordinates very clearly, precisely, trying to make him understand what exactly needs to be done. Then what happens here is that the confusion will be avoided. The employee will know what exactly needs to be done, how should I take it further, and in case if there are any sort of confusion or doubts, he can automatically go back to his leader, to his manager, question, get it clarified, and prioritize his work altogether. So that's why I say that unity of command is very, very important. Followed by appropriate direction technique. Look at this word itself, appropriate direction technique, which should be used to supervise, lead, and communicate. Leadership is a gift. Is it a talent? Is it something that is acquired? Is it something that is inborn? We do not know. These are all debatable topics. But one thing that is for sure is that leadership comes with a lot of responsibility, which needs to be 100% accepted. Everybody thinks that by becoming a leader, I can start issuing commands. Unfortunately, no. By becoming a leader, you become the first follower. Why? Because if you don't follow the rules and regulations, if you don't follow the instructions, you cannot expect it from your team. So as a leader, the most important thing that you need to learn, how do you need to talk to people? How you need to communicate with them, how you need to convince them, how you need to lead them, how you need to be with them at the time of difficulty. So the appropriate direction technique, it is not just that you point your finger, people will do it. Or it is not just that you have just raised your hand, people will follow you just like God. No, it is not that way at all. It is all about making the people understand the purpose, the objective behind each and every activity that is going to be done. So as a leader, you need to have all those set of capabilities that will make you even more better. That will make you even more understanding that yes, you are leading the pack to success. or else you can never be called as a leader. You don't have an appropriate direction, then people are not going to believe you. A leader is like a compass. People trust the compass because it's going to show the right direction. As a leader of the organization, you need to show the right path to success. Followed by the managerial communication. According to this principle, it should be seen that the instructions are clearly conveyed to the employees, and it should be ensured that they have understood that the meaning was intended, that was communicated. Now, I say that communication is such a big puzzle altogether. We know English, no doubt about it. We may probably know a couple of more languages also. But that doesn't make us a good communicator. What it makes us is only a versatile personality that you are able to communicate in different angles and different aspects altogether. And the ground reality is that communication itself requires a lot of thinking. It makes you understand that unless and until you set your mind in terms of bringing in the clear intention of your communication, you don't actually reach to the people at all. So it is your primary job, primary responsibility that you make communication simplified and make it understandable to each and every employee in the organization. Now, each one of us live in a digital age where we have been using our laptops or, our tabs or mobile phones, where we keep typing our emails and other kind of, software and apps that we are using. Many times when we are sending an email or when we are sending a communication to our peers, to our subordinates, to our managers or anybody, we don't intend to use the right choice of words, by which what happens, the meaning of the entire communication gets disturbed. So that's why I would always say that, have you been able to convince the meaning perfectly to your persons? Then you are able to claim yourself that yes, you have completed a good communication process. Followed by the use of informal organization. And when I say informal organization, within every formal organization, there is an informal organization, which means to say that management needs to identify this informal group. They have to create a center of excellence, a free flow of information, thought process should be there, so that you will be able to make the process even more simpler, more interactive, more lively, and there will be an effective exchange of thought process. Now, many people think that corporate life means a very formal life where you don't have an option to talk at all. Now, that is not the intention of the organization. Direction tells you that inside a management, you create a free flow cycle of information through which meaningful information is communicated, meaningful factors are being shared between the employees, so that the project also becomes even more interesting to work, and at the same time, you are able to learn and grow together. Followed by leadership, which is a very common process that we have been talking about, the quality to influence the subordinates. This word I would like to spend a moment here. Why? Because as a leader, the first and the foremost thing is that, do you have that personality to attract your subordinates? The quality of a leader is not about having a strong voice or a strong personality or about getting things done. It is all about making the people get influenced by your thoughts. If you are able to do that, then automatically you have achieved a greatest form of leadership. Now, the follow-through. As per the technique, it is very important and need that every manager has to monitor the extent at which the policies are being done. Are they being correctly followed? Have people followed the rules and regulations? Are the things done according to the system? Everything needs to be checked on a timely manner so that you are able to see that if there are any modifications needed, if there are any changes to be made, you have a time to communicate back and those changes are implemented as told. Now, this follow through is something like, doing a final check in terms of the review so that you are able to get the work done smoothly without any hindrances. With that, I come to the end of today's session. I hope and believe that all the resources that are being shared through this session will be of a great benefit to you, both in terms of practical as well as from the theory of knowledge. In the upcoming session, we are going to learn more about the different factors of directing. But until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.